Hola mis estudiantes, bienvenido a Build a Website from Scratch with HTML and CSS. This video is called Get Your Hands Dirty. In this lecture, you know what's up. We get our hands dirty, make a mini website with everything we've learned so far from this section. And everything we've learned from this section is the very basics of CSS. So we're going to make a very basic HTML and CSS web page. Awesome and exciting. Let's get started. Open your code editor. In your lesson 5 folder, create an index.html file and open that up. You know the drill. Boom. All right. Give it the title. Getting my hands dirty with CSS! Exclamation point, because it's exciting. All right. Let's start off by adding a little bit of HTML. We know how this works. Level 1 heading. My first website with CSS. A paragraph tag. This website uses external CSS to make it look so nice. Let's add a level 2 heading. 3 ways to add CSS. An unordered list is next up with 3 list items, and each of the list items will have A tags because we're going to link to something. All right, in those A tags, let's add inline, internal, and external. The hrefs, we want to link to our previous HTML files we created. That is inline.html, internal.html, and external.html. Save that. Let's add one more thing. Let's add a paragraph tag again. And let's say this HTML is styled using CSS. And just to throw it in there, let's wrap is styled using CSS in a strong tag. So let's check this out. All right, very plain, very simple HTML, very ugly. Let's make it not ugly. All right, first things first, add a master.css file. Just create a new file and call it master.css. Open that up in your code editor. Should be nice and blank. And let's start off by adding a body selector. We're going to select the entire body of your website. And let's give the background a dark gray. So that would be 333. If you're using Coda, what's really awesome is you can use a built-in feature called Color Picker. When you go to write a value for this property background or color or font color or whatever, right? You can choose Color Picker and it will pop open in Color Picker. And you can choose your color right here, and it'll just throw in the hexadecimal value just as you kind of, it's almost like a drag and drop type thing. So it's pretty cool. If you don't know what color you want to use, you could just play around with this and just, choose a color. I am going to use 333, which is a dark gray. I want my font family for the entire web page to be Georgia and then Times and then a serif. So this basically what this says is first give the entire website the font family of Georgia. If the user who's visiting my web page does not have Georgia installed on their computer, then fall back to Times. If they don't have Times, then fall back just to whatever default serif font they have on their computer. A sans serif font is like Helvetica, where it doesn't have the little squiggly lines and stuff at the ends of the characters. This isn't really a typography lesson. I'm just kind of giving you a quick lowdown. And a serif font is like Georgia, where you have those little squiggly lines and everything. All right, and then color. I want the color, meaning the text color or the font color of all of the text to be white, which is FFF. And the font size, I want the default font size for everything to be 20 pixels. Save that and let's check it out in the browser. All right, so something's up. It's not hooking in here. We're not seeing our styles, and that is because in your index.html file, you have to add the link tag that will link our CSS file to this page. So we're going to link our master.css file to this HTML file. Remember to add the rel attribute of style sheet. Not required, but good practice. Save that. Now check out your website. All right, so we have our Georgia font and our dark background. So we're getting there. It's looking better already. All right, let's do a grouping selector. A grouping selector is when instead of just selecting, say, the H1, I want to select all of the level 1, or all of the headings, the H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All I have to do, instead of writing them out like this, so on and so forth, I can write them out just like this, with a comma in between. So this selects all of the H1 through H6 headings. I can also add, other things, so like paragraph tag, div, OL, whatever. That's a grouping selector. But I'm just going to use all of the level, all the headings. And I want the font family for the headings to be different than what was declared up here using Georgia. I want it to be Helvetica. So I'm overriding the inheritance. So by default, it would inherit the Georgia font family, but I don't want that. I want it to inherit, I want it to be Helvetica instead for all of the headings. So this is Helvetica. If you don't have Helvetica on your computer, it will fall back to Arial. If you don't have Arial, it will fall back to whatever default sans serif font you have on your computer. I want the color to be FFCC33. It's kind of like a orangey yellow type color. Let's check that out in our browser. So here we go. We have Helvetica, and then the body copy is just Georgia. So this is a sans serif font, and this is a serif font. You can see the difference because this one's all straight edge and this one's all squiggly. All right, so let's go back to our CSS. Let's select just our H1. Now we just want to specifically style our H1. Let's give it a border of dashed 1 pixel FFCC33, which is that yellow color that we just added. And let's just check that out. So now we have a dashed border, 1 pixel dashed border all around our level 1 heading. Let's do more. Background, I want it to be flat black, just 000. That's just hard black. You can also type black, but I like using the hexadecimal codes. Font size, let's use a measurement that we haven't used before. 2M. Now, if you recall from the previous lecture, or a previous lecture, whatever one it was, 1 unit of M, so 1M, is equal to the current font size. So the current font size should be 20 pixels. So therefore, 2Ms should be 40 pixels. So the font size for the H1 should be 40 pixels. Okay. And now let's add one more thing. Padding, 10 pixels. So we're going to add padding. The concept of margin and padding using the box model is coming up soon. So we'll cover that in more detail a little later. But for now, we're just going to, just add these styles just to see what they look like. All right, so here it is. We have our black background, our padding of 10 pixels. You can see the padding on the inside of this box around the level 1 heading here. We got some breathing room. And the font size is 2M, which is 40 pixels. This should be 40 pixels. All right, up next, we're going to select our OL, our ordered list. Let's give it a border of solid 4 pixels, BC, E, 3ED. And then a background of 33 BCDE. So these are blues. These are different shades of blue. Save that and let's check it out. So here we go. We have a 4 pixel border, like a light blue border, and then a background of kind of this the sky blue type color. It looks a little cramped in here. It looks all choked up. There's no padding on the inside of this box. It's all touching the edges here. So I'm going to fix that. And you do that with some padding. I want 20 pixels on the top. I want 20 pixels on the right. I want 20 pixels on the bottom. And on the left, I want 40 pixels. So this is top, right, bottom, left. That's how this syntax works. This is how you add this value for padding. You could individually write padding top 20 pixels, padding right 20 pixels, padding bottom, padding left. However, that's a lot of typing and it saves you some typing and it's quicker to use the shorthand, padding, and then just type the values as so. So here we go. We got 20, 20, 20, and 40. Now this might not look like 40 to you, 40 pixels, because it's pretty much the same as the top and bottom and technically the right. But because it's an ordered list, it has its own default styles, so it kind of overrides the 20 pixels. So I needed to put 40 pixels in order for it to look good. Because if I put 20 pixels, the edge of this text right here would have been right up against the edge. So I needed to give it double. So technically this is 40 pixels right here. Okay, and let's give it some margin. And we're going to use another measurement we haven't used, percentage. We're going to go 5% on the top, 0 on the right. Now I'm just going to end it there. What this means, if you're only adding 2 values to padding or margin like this is the top and the bottom, and this is the left and the right. So basically, instead of going top, right, and then bottom and left, writing it like this, I can save time by just going and adding the 2 values. So top and bottom, right and left. So top and bottom has 5%, right and left has 0. So there we go, it has some margin. And now let's select the A tag and give it the color of FFCC33. So now save that, check it out. Now you have this kind of orangey yellow links. That's what the link colors are now. And then the last thing we'll do is select the strong tag or all strong tags and give it the color of just pink. Let's just write pink and check it out. So there you go. There's your strong tag styled using CSS. It is pink. So this is it. This is getting your hands dirty with CSS, everything you've learned so far. It's very, very basic right now, but it opens you up to a whole new world of making your websites look really, really good. You can see here what you've done. If you've come this far, this is excellent. And you should look forward to the next lectures because we're going to get even further into CSS and you're going to start making even more beautiful websites. See you there.